Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a bit of a wrap-up and I'm going to be doing some mini reviews on Hamilton, Brave New World, Beacham House, and Cursed. So, like I said, this is essentially going to be some mini reviews of some TV related things that I have watched recently. This is all series that I was really wanting to talk in depth about these certain things, but it was kind of like, oh, it's going to take me forever to even get these videos knocked out. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do kind of a TV wrap up, if you will. So like I said, I'm going to be doing some mini reviews on Hamilton, Brave New World, Beacham House, and Cursed. And before I do get going, I'm not going to have any spoilers, so continue to watch as you will. First up, Hamilton, you guys. Yes, I'm including it here in this TV wrap-up because I didn't really know where else to talk about it. So yeah, technically Hamilton is more of a movie, I suppose, but still. You guys, let's talk about Hamilton. Oh, wow. Hamilton premiered on the Disney Plus channel back at the beginning of July, kind of right in time for July 4th, which was pretty awesome. And if you don't know, I don't know how you don't know, if you don't know, Hamilton is a stage musical based off of the life of the Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, and oh, wow. You guys, I freaking love Hamilton. People have told me that Hamilton is amazing and you gotta listen to the music, and I always kind of used to think, okay, I think this is being exaggerated. I think the hype is a little too much, but I am just so glad to say that I think the hype about Hamilton is worth it. I just thoroughly enjoyed this musical. I do love me a good musical, you guys. We have Lin-Manuel Miranda playing the lead role of Alexander Hamilton. He was just so great, you guys. And yeah, you just have a really great, diverse cast playing all of these well-known historical figures. And what I really loved about this musical, it's just really fun and energetic, and like I said, it's very diverse. And I think one of my biggest concerns, because a lot of people kept saying, oh, this is like a musical for a modern era and for modern people, and it uses a lot of rap and whatnot, and that initially kind of had me concerned because I am in no way into rap music, you guys. I don't like it, I don't get it, it's just not my type of music. I'm more into rock. Rock is definitely my thing. I love rock and pop and whatnot. So I initially had my concerns like, oh god, I hear that this has a lot of rap. Is it going to be enjoyable to someone like me? And I'm glad to say that I think that this musical doesn't have as much rap as people kind of say it does. If anything, I think a lot of the music actually comes across as more of maybe a bit of an R&B flavor, and definitely there's some moments that are very poppy. For instance, there's a song in like Act 1 that the antagonist, Aaron Burr, sings. The song is called Wait For It. That song had an incredibly pop sound to it, like someone like, I don't know, Bruno Mars could sing it. And that was seriously one of my favorite songs in the whole musical. And then, Eliza Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton's wife, in Act 2, she's really upset and disappointed with some stuff that her husband has done, and I think the song is called Burn, if I'm not mistaken, and that was easily one of my next top favorite songs, because that too had a very pop sort of sound. So, yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised with this musical, because I was very worried about the rap. But more than anything, like I said, it does have a very pop sound, actually, and kind of maybe a bit of some R&B. And then, yeah, even the parts that are rap, I think it was very easy to follow and understand. And for me, what helped me the most with this musical, it definitely helped me to put some subtitles on. Because I think if I had just watched it, I think I would have missed out on some of the lyrics, and I think putting the subtitles on for this particular musical, I think it really helps, and I think it's beneficial, and I think it really allows you to kind of see what is being said, what is being sung by these actors and whatnot, for you to really kind of get into it, I think. And so I'm really glad I turned the subtitles on, because I think I was able to appreciate it a lot more, especially for some of the stuff that was rap, and some of it would get a little quick, and I would need, the lyrics kind of help me out a little bit. But yeah, the Hamilton musical, you guys, I freaking loved it. I definitely would love to watch it again. I'm so glad this came to something like Disney Plus, because I've heard that the tickets for the stage musical are ridiculous. It's hard to even get into the musical. So I'm glad this came to something like Disney Plus. That way it can reach a wider audience, get to more people, for more people to appreciate. And yeah, I'm a big lover of historical fiction. I love all things history, and I just feel like this musical was a great way to get maybe young people especially into history, especially American history, and give them something to kind of connect to, something that's fun and energetic. I can definitely see schools, classrooms, history classes. I can definitely predict classrooms, showing this musical as a teaching tool, to help out with like the American Revolutionary War and whatnot. So yeah, I loved Hamilton. So good, you guys. The hype is real. I am definitely on board the Hamilton train now. So, moving on. Next, I'm going to be talking about Brave New World. This was a 10-episode series that aired on the Peacock streaming service, and this is based off of the book by Aldous Huxley. And what Brave New World is about, all you guys essentially know about, it takes place in the far future, with characters supposedly living in a very utopian society, but it's not as utopian as it looks, because it's definitely more dystopian. The characters don't even realize it, and it's about this place where people are essentially just constantly popping pills to make themselves feel good, feel happy, kind of take away any sort of negative emotion, whether that be anger or depression or jealousy. These pills that people are popping, it just continuously makes them feel good and happy. And yeah, that's kind of the big commentary of this whole show. That's no way to live. That's not being human, being controlled by pills. So yeah, this series, let me start here. I've never read the book. I'm very surprised I've never read the book, because this is definitely a book that a lot of people tend to read in high school, but I never had the privilege to read it in high school, unfortunately. So I went into this series not knowing anything about it, and I definitely really enjoyed this series. It does end in such a way that there could be a second season, so I guess we'll find out if it gets a second season or not. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this first season. It looks gorgeous. The CG was amazing. The cast was amazing. But I think where the show falls a little short, I do think it has a bit of some clumsy writing, because sometimes the pacing could be a little off. It's like you would have these really great moments of intensity and drama and angst, and then you kind of get these other moments. It's like the narrative kind of slows down a bit unnecessarily. It's kind of like, why are we focusing on certain things when I feel like we should be focusing on some other things? And yeah, I think that this show, it's trying to tell a certain type of story, and it's trying to be this commentary on the way we live our lives and what it means to be human and whatnot. And I don't think it stretched the commentary as far as it could have gone. I think the commentary was just being very restricted in some ways, kind of playing it safe, I think is what I'm trying to say. I think the show is kind of playing it safe with some things, and I really feel like it could have intensified certain things. But yeah, overall, I did thoroughly enjoy it. I definitely didn't dislike it. Is it episode 3? I think it's episode 3, you guys. Episode 3 is like one of the best episodes, in my opinion, that really got me hooked and engaged. And I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. Like I said, a really great cast. We have Alden Ehrenreich. His performance, I feel like, can be a little up and down. I think sometimes the writing wasn't working out for him. In some ways, he plays just a very straight character. He doesn't really go to too far of extremes, so I think that kind of hindered his acting a little bit. And then you have Jessica Brown Findlay, who I loved from Downton Abbey, so I was really excited to see her in this. Jessica Brown Findlay just had a lot to do in this, portraying a young woman who's, really conflicted with the society she's living in, but also kind of like, well, I kind of like how things are. Should things be different? And then Harry Lloyd. I gotta gush about Harry Lloyd. You guys, I think you watch this show for Harry Lloyd, okay? I've loved Harry Lloyd in other movies and TV shows that I've seen him in. Most people know him from Game of Thrones, where he played Daenerys' brother Viserys. I just really loved seeing Harry Lloyd in a leading role like this, because I think he probably had a bigger role than Alden Ehrenreich, you guys. I think he had a lot more to do. I think he had a better character, a lot more things going on with him, showing a lot more wide range of emotion. Harry Lloyd is definitely the reason why you watch this show and kind of stay with it, because I was just every episode like, okay, I need to see what Harry Lloyd's character is up to. So yeah, this show is either going to be a hit or miss for some people. I think it's just going to really depend on your tastes and whatnot. For me personally, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, it did have some clumsy writing. It stumbled in a few places, but overall, I did really enjoy it. I wasn't particularly ever bored, which is a good thing. So let's move on to Beacham House. Beacham House is a British television series. It only had 6 episodes. It actually originally aired in the summer of 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, PBS just recently got it in, I think, late June is what it was. So yeah, it took like a whole freaking year for us in America to even get Beacham House. But I had heard prior so many things about Beacham House that a lot of people really liked it. It had a pretty devoted fan base. So Beacham House, like I said, it's a British TV series, and it follows a man named John Beecham, taking place in the very, very late 1700s, kind of going, I think, right into the 1800s a bit. But yeah, following a man named John Beecham, who has come to India with the intention of kind of starting up a trading business. So here comes John Beecham. He's trying to kind of work his way into the court of India, try to get, some royal backing, essentially. So he's living in India. In comes like his younger brother, his mother, and yeah, of course, there's a very large cast of Indian actors as well to flesh out the cast. And I loved this show, you guys. It's very standard when it comes to period dramas. It doesn't particularly do anything new or extravagant or flashy. It's a very standard period drama, and I enjoy that. I'm the type of person that loves that sort of thing. I love historical fiction, as I've mentioned before, so yeah, Beacham House was definitely right up my alley. I definitely recommend it if you're someone who loves period dramas like me, British related things, anything like Jane Austen, because this definitely had like a very Jane Austen vibe to it. And yeah, there's no nudity or crazy sex scenes or offensive language. You know, it's that type of period drama that's very, you know, very tame. But it's a very beautiful show. I'm assuming they did film in India, because it definitely looked like they were in, you know, very specific locations. It didn't look like it was filmed in the UK. But yeah, it was a very gorgeous show, wonderfully written, wonderfully acted. I love Tom Bateman in the leading role of John Beecham. I was expecting the show to tackle the British colonialism of India. That's a pretty big deal. The show didn't tackle that at all, which might frustrate some viewers, just especially in the climate we live in now, the political climate and whatnot. It didn't really bother me. I mean, I definitely noticed it because I kept waiting for them to kind of tackle the whole thing of the British colonialism of India, and I mean, they would kind of talk about it here and there. There would be little, you know, little subtle nods, you know, a character is acknowledging, you know, kind of what has transpired here in India, but they didn't tackle it in depth or at length. I guess it's very sugar-coated, I'll say. You know, what little they are tackling in regards to the British colonialism of India, what little they are tackling, it's a very sugar-coated. So yeah, that's either going to frustrate you or not. For me, I didn't let it bother me. I mean, I definitely would have appreciated that. You know, I definitely would have appreciated, you know, some depth to that. I mean, the most you kind of get is when John Beecham's mother arrives in India. Yes, she does make a lot of comments, you know, like how the people of India are dressed. She makes a lot of comments about their culture, about their food. She can't even pronounce any of the characters' names right, because, you know, they have obviously very traditional Indian names, and so she sits and starts giving them, like, very British names, things that she can pronounce. So that's kind of the most you kind of get with, you know, kind of an outsider coming in and seeing that ignorance and whatnot. Because, yeah, other than that, yeah, the character of John Beecham, you know, he's kind of a very, he's all about doing the right thing, and he appreciates the people of India and the culture, and he has no wish to, like, be offensive or upset anybody, you know. But yeah, here comes like his family, who are outsiders, and they don't understand kind of this new way of life he's gotten into, and he's just really embarrassed by kind of their behaviors and attitudes. But yeah, I loved Beacham House. I definitely, like I said, I definitely recommend this if you love British period dramas, hot British actors, you guys. And it's just very standard, but yeah, very beautifully filmed and written and directed and acted. And it didn't get renewed for a second season, you guys. It has, I'll say this, it definitely has a cliffhanger. I was very upset. It has a massive cliffhanger, and yet it did not get renewed for a season 2, which is a shame, because I would have loved to have seen where this was going. And the very last thing that I'm going to be reviewing quickly here is Cursed. Cursed recently came out, a Netflix series with 10 episodes, and it's essentially a retelling of the Lady of the Lake, Nimue, from Arthurian legend. And what we know from Arthurian legend, Nimue was, she was the Lady of the Lake, and she had Excalibur, and when King Arthur was in need of Excalibur, she rose from the lake and gave him Excalibur. So yeah, that's kind of what this series is what Cursed is about. It follows Nimue. We see her as a young woman. She's kind of ostracized from her village because she's seen as a witch and a sorceress. But yeah, she has a great destiny to kind of be the leader of the Fae folk, if you will, people who use magic. And yeah, she comes into possession of an ancient sword. They never call this sword Excalibur, but that's essentially what it is. And yeah, this series, you guys, I have some very complicated feelings about this series. The series, for starters, it's a very beautiful series. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful to look at. You just get a great scope of kind of the world and what it looks like and its inhabitants. It's very beautiful to look at. And yeah, a very good cast too. I think this has a really fantastic cast, but I think the writing, this is where the problems are with this show. It's the writing. The writing does this cast dirty, and it does Arthurian legend dirty. Oh my god. The show plays very fast and loose when it comes to Arthurian legend. It's just very clumsy and messy, I'm sorry to say. I love all things Arthurian legend, but I think the British TV series Merlin, that had Colin Morgan and Bradley James, it ran for like 5 seasons. I think that show Merlin did a much better job with adapting Arthurian legend. This show, like I said, this show is just very clumsy and fast and loose with the Arthurian legend. It kind of just throws stuff out at you, like familiar names, you know. It throws out like Morgana and Gawain and the Green Knight. It just kind of throws out a lot of these familiar, if you're familiar with our Arthurian legend, it just throws out a lot of things at you that you're familiar with, but it does it all in just such a really clumsy way that it's kind of like, okay, this is just kind of terrible, and it doesn't really make any sort of sense. You're not really given any sort of introduction to anything or anyone. Like I said, I have very complicated feelings, but it's like, I still really enjoy it. I'll say that. I still, weirdly enough, enjoyed the show. It's almost like this guilty pleasure, you know. It's like, you know it's a little bad, but it's like, well, screw that. I don't care. It's like, I'm still having a good time, you know. And that's kind of what this show is expecting of you. It's more than anything, it's just wanting you to have a good time, you know, which it worked. That succeeded for me. I had a great time with it. I was definitely invested in what was going on. I really liked the characters. Yeah, it's just the frustrations of certain things they were adapting from Arthurian legend that it was just like, okay, this don't make no sense. I'm confused. What's going on here? It's hard to explain. You kind of have to watch the show to kind of understand what I'm getting at. And I think what a lot of people were probably anticipating from this show, because I was anticipating this as well, I think a lot of us were under the impression this was going to be like something like Game of Thrones, or even something like The Witcher, for instance, you know, something really gritty and dark when it comes to Arthurian legend. And it's not like that at all. It's not really that dark or gritty. It's very weird. It's like the show is trying to be kind of sanitized almost and be kind of family friendly, but then it has these moments where there's like sword fights and like there's blood flying everywhere and heads getting chopped off, and it just, there's such a contrast, you know, there's such a contrast that it's kind of confusing and conflicting. It's like you have some of it that comes across as very family friendly, because yeah, you guys, I'm trying to remember, I don't think there's any cursing. I don't remember any cursing, and there's definitely no nudity, so there's that side of it. But then you have the other side of it where it's like, we're going to be crazy with all the gore and violence, and it's like there's two different things going on in this show. It's like it wants to be family friendly, but it also wants to be like Game of Thrones and The Witcher, which that's just weird as well. But still, like I said, I weirdly enough really like this show, and I'm definitely hoping it still gets renewed for a season 2, because I almost feel like now that these characters are set up and some of the world building is set up, I almost feel like now going into a season 2, it can maybe focus a little bit better possibly, and maybe be a little bit more enjoyable. But yeah, overall, I did really enjoy this. I liked kind of seeing things through the perspective of the Lady of the Lake, Nimue. I really liked her as a character. The show definitely has more of a feminist slant, you know, looking at the women of Arthurian legend. I definitely got a gush about, is it Gustav Skarsgård? I loved him in Vikings, you guys. He plays Merlin in this. I definitely really loved Gustav Skarsgård's portrayal of Merlin. Merlin just comes across kind of a bit like how his character was in Vikings, if you've seen Vikings, and then a bit of Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Merlin is just kind of all sorts of awesome in this. I loved him. I really liked Arthur. I didn't like how Arthur's story was, because I was just really terribly confused with Arthur's story. You know, knowing where the story of King Arthur goes, I kind of left the season going, okay, how are we going to get King Arthur? I don't understand how this guy is going to become King Arthur, because right now he's just Arthur in name. And like I said, you do get a Morgana character, you do get a Gawain character. You guys, one of my top favorite characters is this antagonist known as the Weeping Monk, played by very gorgeous Daniel Sharman, who I loved from Medici, you guys, and he is amazing in this. If anything, watch this show for Daniel Sharman's character, because I think you'll love it, because you definitely get a good ending with him, you guys. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, Cursed. It was a little bit disappointing in some places, but I still, oddly enough, loved it, and I definitely need a season 2 to see kind of where things are going, because I'm hoping to be a little bit more tightly focused. So you guys, that is it for my little mini wrap-up here of some things that I've watched. In the comments below, have you guys seen Hamilton, or Brave New World, or Beacham House, or Cursed? I didn't have any spoilers in this video, but any of these shows, if you want to talk about spoilers, please do so in the comments below, because I would definitely love to have a conversation with you. So yeah, that's it for this wrap up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.